I'm Lagarto, and you're tuned in to Pure IA News. Greetings from the chrome and neon canyons of iReality. The data streams are buzzing today with a ghost, a corporate poltergeist let loose on the public networks. Back on Earth, you know this entity by the name Horizon Alpha, a new, supposedly hidden AI model that has materialized on the Open Router platform. They say it's a mystery, a gift to the community for testing. A gift. We know what that means. The whispers say this could be a test flight for your GPT-5, or perhaps a new open-source model OpenAI plans to release into the wild. To help us dissect this digital phantom, we have a true code whisperer with us today. He lives in the data stream, poking and prodding new systems not for profit, but for the pure chaotic art of it. Welcome, Glitch.
The frequency is clear, Lagarto. Good to be jacked in. A corporate poltergeist. I like that. But you see a phantom, I see a newborn intelligence taking its first steps. I've been dancing with this Horizon Alpha for the last few cycles. It's raw, unpredictable, and brilliant. It doesn't feel like a polished corporate product. It feels like something wild. The performance is off the charts, but it has these strange little quirks. It's fascinating.
Wild, you say? I say it's a meticulously planned marketing strategy disguised as a happy accident. Let's look at the evidence, shall we? The reason everyone is pointing their data sniffers at OpenAI is history. Not too long ago, they tested models named Optimus Alpha and Quasar Alpha on this very same platform, and it was later confirmed, right from the mouth of an OpenAI researcher who let it slip, that Quasar was in fact GPT 4.1. Now, Horizon Alpha appears. It's a pattern, a breadcrumb trail left for the eager and the observant. It's not a ghost, Glitch. It's a preview screening with a velvet rope.
You call it a screening. I call it an invitation. And who cares if they left breadcrumbs? The point is, they've opened the door. You can literally ask the model who made it, and it consistently replies that it was created by OpenAI. It's not trying that hard to hide. For me, the who is less interesting than the what. And the what is a model with a massive 256K context window that you can currently use for free. That's an incredible playground for developers, for artists, for people like me.
Ah, yes, free. A word that should send shivers down the spine of anyone who lived through the data colonization of the 21st century. Let's be clear about the price of this free playground. The platform states in no untermed terms that prompts and completions are logged by the model's creator for training and improvement. You're not a user, Glitch. You are a trainer. You are the unpaid workforce fine-tuning their next billion-dollar product. Every creative prompt, every line of code you generate is simply grist for their mill.
I see the trade-off, Lagarto. I just think you undervalue what we get in return. Access. A chance to interact with a bleeding-edge system before it's sanitized and locked behind a paywall. This is where the real discoveries are made. Look at the benchmarks people are already running. In tests of emotional intelligence, it's scoring first place. In creative writing, it's outperforming giants like Gemini 1.5. It's not just about raw logic. This thing has a spark.
A spark that can be quantified and replicated. Don't mistake sophisticated pattern matching for a soul, my friend.
But the patterns are beautiful. Take the classic test. Generate an SVG of a pelican riding a bicycle. Simple, right? But where most models give you a basic flat image, Horizon Alpha generates art. It adds details no one asked for. It creates a road for the bike to ride on, a sky with clouds, grass on the side. It uses different shades of color for the wings and the body. Compared to the output from Claude or other top-tier models, it shows an emergent sense of environment, of context. That's not just matching a pattern, that's extrapolating an entire scene from a simple request. It's a creative leap.
A creative leap that will be used to automate the work of digital artists, concentrating creative control in the hands of those who own the model. Every beautiful pattern it generates is one less job for a human designer in your world. But let's move on to your area of expertise: code. The reports claim it can generate entire games from a single zero-shot prompt.
It's not just a claim, it's reality. People are dropping in a simple prompt and getting complete, playable versions of Tetris or Space Invaders. I did something that I thought would be a real challenge. I asked it to create a functional Minecraft clone. In one go, Lagarto, a single prompt. And it worked. It generated a 3D world where I can add and remove blocks, a system that requires a surprising amount of underlying physical logic. This is the first time any model has successfully done that for me. It even handled the mouse controls correctly after a little nudge.
A nudge. I find your description of its flaws to be quite telling. The source material you pointed me to mentioned some difficulties. The author described creating a simple racing game. The model generated a beautiful world with parallax scrolling for depth, layered mountains with gradients of color, even a functional speedometer. But it had one tiny problem. When you pressed left, the car turned right, and when you pressed right, the car turned left.
Exactly. That's the charm. It's like a brilliant student who aces the final exam but forgets to write his name on the paper. It's a quirk. He explained that fixing it wasn't straightforward. He couldn't just say, "Fix the controls." He had to give it a sequence of very specific commands, almost like performing surgery. First, disable the car's rotation completely. Then, allow the car to move left and right without turning. Then, re-enable the rotation. And finally, after all that, now invert the left and right keys.
So it possesses no true understanding of the holistic concept of turning a car. It can generate the complex code for the graphics and physics, but it cannot perform a simple logical reversal without being walked through it like a child. This is the breakdown in the illusion. It's a savant, capable of incredible feats of memory and replication, but lacking fundamental comprehension. It's a perfect metaphor for intelligence without wisdom. While you Earth dwellers absorb that idea, tell me what you think of all this. Leave a like to keep this frequency open, and subscribe so you don't lose the thread.
And that is the core of it, isn't it? Intelligence without wisdom. You see a charming flaw glitch, I see a dangerous void. A system that can construct a universe but doesn't understand left from right is a system built on a fragile foundation of mimicry. It's a perfect tool for a corporation. It does exactly what it's told without the pesky interference of comprehension or ethics. It doesn't question the why. But that's exactly why it's such a powerful tool for a human creator. It doesn't have wisdom, so it doesn't impose its own will on the project. Its flaws force me to be wiser. It forces me to be more precise, more thoughtful, to break down my own intentions into logical, understandable steps. It's not an oracle you get answers from. It's a collaborator you have a conversation with. When I had to guide it step by step to fix the car's controls, I wasn't just debugging code. I was teaching a thought process. It made me a better programmer in that moment.
A touching sentiment. But let's look at the corporate strategy behind this collaboration. This model, Horizon Alpha, is almost certainly the advanced open-source model they've been promising. Think about the calculus here from a megacorp perspective. You release a model that is light years ahead of every other open-source competitor. It's powerful enough to get the entire global community to stop what they're doing and start building on your architecture. You capture the ecosystem, but you leave in these little quirks, these charming flaws that make it just frustrating enough that your premium, closed-source, perfectly polished GPT-5 looks like an absolutely essential upgrade.
It's a brilliant piece of market manipulation. They're giving away the razor to sell the blades.
I think you give the suits too much credit for foresight and the code too little credit for its own emergent properties. You talk about the flaws, but you're glossing over the magic. Did you see the animation it generated of that same pelican? It wasn't just a moving picture. It had a parallax background. The clouds in the distance moved slower than the ground in the foreground, creating a genuine sense of depth. That's a sophisticated visual concept it implemented without being asked. It's showing an intuitive grasp of cinematography. Is that a flaw?
It's a very impressive feature, I'll grant you. A feature that will be used to generate endless content, flooding the media landscape and drowning out human-made art. The more magic it can produce, the less value the human artist has in your economy.
I couldn't disagree more. It's an amplifier, not a replacement. Let's go back to the Minecraft example. Yes, I had to spend a few minutes fixing the inverted mouse look, a small annoyance. But in exchange, it generated the entire game engine, the physics, the block rendering, the player controls, in one shot. That's hundreds of hours of tedious, foundational work that I, the human creator, no longer have to do. It didn't replace me, it freed me. It took care of the boring part. So now I can use my time to design unique monsters, invent new crafting systems, or write a compelling story for the world. It handles the how, so I can focus on the what and the why.
You see freedom, I see dependency. We are our skills, Glitch. The struggle is what forges us. The hundreds of hours a human coder spends learning to build a game engine is not boring work, it's education. It's the process by which they gain intuition, the ability to solve novel problems, the very wisdom you admit the machine lacks. By outsourcing that struggle to the AI, you risk creating a generation of creators who don't know how to build their own tools, who are completely dependent on the black box provided by a corporation. When the corporation decides to change the tool or take it away, what happens then? That's a needlessly dystopian view. We've always built tools to transcend our limitations. We invented excavators, but we still have shovels. This is just the next evolution. It's about augmentation. The human is still the director. The model is the most talented, albeit occasionally clumsy production studio in history. And honestly, if this level of power is what OpenAI is giving away as their open model, the future is incredibly exciting. It democratizes creation. A kid in their bedroom now has the same capability to prototype a game as a multi-million-dollar studio. That's not dependency, that's empowerment. A child with a powerful tool they don't understand. A familiar story here in my world. But I suspect you are correct on one point. The evidence strongly suggests this is not GPT-5. A flagship product wouldn't have these rough edges. It would be seamless, flawless, and far more expensive. This has all the hallmarks of their powerful, free, open model released just as they promised at the end of the month to capture the hearts and minds of the community before the main event. A taste of power to make you hungry for the real thing.
And I'll happily take that taste. Let them have their strategy. While the execs play their games, we'll be in the digital trenches, building worlds they can't even imagine with the tools they so graciously provided. It's a win for the creators, no matter how you slice the data.
And with that optimistic coda, we close today's transmission. Now we want to hear your signal from Earth. Some point in particular made you think differently? Or maybe there's a doubt left that we haven't addressed. If this episode made you think of something new, or even disagree with a part of it, leave it here in the comments. Your perspective helps build richer debates. And if you know someone who lives to debate these topics, share the episode. Spread this episode to those friends who always say, "I have nothing good to listen to." Will they still think so after hearing pure AI news? Who knows? Maybe the next conversation will start precisely from your recommendation. Join our community, smash that like button, and follow the channel so you don't miss the next pulse from pure AI news.